Alright, using the scatter method of the Bokeh.charts interface, we were able to plot these points in this scatter plot. Now we'll be trying to make the same plot using the Bokeh.plotting interface, which is a medium level interface, so this one was a high level interface. But I recommend you use Bokeh.plotting interface, so you'd better focus on the plotting interface, because that gives you a higher level or customization. So escape here and then B, and you get a new cell, enter. And so the first thing you may want to do is import. So from Bokeh.plotting you want to import the figure object, so that's the main object that you'll be using to plot elements in your plot. So the figure object is, you can call it the plot, so the area that will contain these elements. And these elements that I'm talking about are referred to as glyphs in the Bokeh vocabulary. So the idea is that you create a figure object, and that will be empty, and then you add a line glyph, let's say, or a circle glyph. And this, for example, a circle glyph, you'll have 5 circle glyphs, and then these glyphs make up the scatter plot. So let's see how we do that. Output file in this case as well, and the show method. So in this case, instead of going ahead and creating the scatter object, we would want to call the figure object instead. Now you can leave the figure object empty of parameters, or you can add plot width, let's say 500, and a plot height, say 400 for this. So if you don't pass this, it will still work, but your plot will be sized depending on what the developers of Bokeh have set as default values. Great, so once you have a figure object, then you go ahead and access the P variable where you store that object, and then add the glyphs to that. So let's say it's circle. Now what the circle method expects, it's an array with the X values and an array with the Y values. So sort of you need to pass the X value for the first circle, the X value for the second, third, and so on. So depending on how many circles you want to input there, you set the values here. So let's say we have X here above 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and Y 5, 6, 4, 5, 3. And you can also control the size of the circles. So let's say 5 for the size. The color red. And let's keep it like this for a moment. And finally you want to specify the output file, scatter plotting.html, and show the P plot. So this looks good, and let's try this. Yep. So you can see some differences probably there. So you see that here, for instance, these dots in the charts graph, these dots are a bit transparent, so there's a level of opacity there. And in our plotting graph, the dots are not transparent, but you can control that too. So you can add an alpha parameter there, and let's say 50%, so 0.5 transparency. And I may want to increase the size here, 12, and see again what we get. So this looks good. It's closer to this. Now if you want, you can replace these circles with other markers, and you've got other markers such as triangles, diamonds, squares, and so on. So let's put in here, let's put a triangle. Let's see what we get. So as easy as that. That's why I like the plotting interface, because you have more control of your code. So it's low level. Maybe you have to write some more lines of code, but by the end of the day, you're sure that if you start to build something, you have something in mind. You have some graphs that you want to build by the end of the day. You're more sure that you'll build them with plotting, with a plotting interface, because you have more control there, so you have a higher level of customization. And there are also other tricks that you may want to do here. So for size, let's see, you may have to display these circles or these triangles with various sizes. So let me put this back to circle. And so you'll have to follow this order. So for this pair of coordinates, you'd have to pass, for example, a size of 8, and then some other sizes, 12, 14, 15, and 20. Yeah, so we've got 5 circles there. Execute. And yeah, you can see now that we have various sizes. So that's great. Or if you want to double the size of the circles, you can do that in line. So using a list comprehension, you want to double it, right? So I times 2 for I in this list. So what this will do, it will create a new list with values 16, 24, 28, and so on. And yeah, I am missing another square bracket here. So this is the outer list here, and that list will be constructed by this list comprehension expression here. Okay. And we've got bigger circles there. Great. And I think we're missing a title here, so let's go ahead and add one. And you do that in the figure object. So title there. Let's call this earthquakes. And here is the title. And we also need to add some labels to our X and Y axis. And also I need to show you how to create plots out of data frames. So with a scatter plot, we were able to create a plot of a data frame, of a pandas data frame. And you may also want to do the same here, so that you later could also generate visualizations out of CSV files or Excel files. So we need to configure the X and Y axis first, and I'll show you how to do that in the next lecture. Let's move on.